Emotional labor is the work that we do to display the right emotions at any
Mhm.
given point in time at work. And so sometimes that
The right
might mean
emotions.
the right emotions. Yes,
Yeah.
because all workplaces have these unwritten rules around what emotions are okay, shown by whom, and who in like sort of what amounts. Right? These rules are not written down anywhere, but they're very much like part of the fabric of an
Mhm.
organization. And so emotional labor is that work we're doing behind the scenes to somewhat conform to these unwritten rules and expectations. And so for leaders, what this can look like is, for example, supporting a team member, through their burnout, even when you're really feeling burnt out yourself. It
Mhm.
looks like the really weighty decisions of firing an underperformer or layoffs or restructuring yet again when you know your teams and your organizations are so change fatigued. It looks like sort of the slight shape shifting that needs to happen to be effective as you toggle across different stakeholder groups, right? How you show up with your team is going to be different than how you show up with the executive team versus the board and so on. And then we've got these paradoxical, like insane emotional expectations of leaders to be confident yet humble, for example, right?
Yeah.
Be grounded but inspiring, right? Be authentic, but not too much, or you might lose your credibility. So there's just a lot of emotional gymnastics that leaders are doing to be effective in their role. And it all makes perfect sense. It's really important for them to do this to be effective.
Mhm.
But oftentimes, because it goes untrained, because it goes unknowledged, not even discussed, like the first line of defense is to just simply ignore, suppress, hide fake emotions. And sometimes that is absolutely the right response in a given moment. Like sometimes you do need to quote unquote grin and bear it. But over time, that strategy of ignoring and suppressing and avoiding emotions has some really significant costs to relationships, to performance, and to health. And so it's important we talk about it and start to sort of shift the
Mhm.
conversation and cultures around the display of emotions at work.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think things were ever simple in the workplace. I think about the workplace that my parents were in. There was probably even a more limited set of emotions that it was okay to share.
Mhm.
But I think the stressors today are bigger. The complexity has increased quite a lot. I have a client who you mentioned change fatigue. They've
Yeah.
been through quite a lot of changes, and I said change fatigue in coaching, and they said, "Oh no, I am change exhausted. I
Mhm.
am over fatigue, and I'm exhausted, and I can't show it." Right?
Yeah.
I said, "Well, when you are there, people know you are there. You can
Mhm.
acknowledge it in front of them or not, but they know it. It's
Yeah.
just there's so much today."